This is one of the work anthologies that I wrote for one of my classes. This is a sheet of work that I did for one of my classes. And the idea of having this was to actually have something on computer that would then be transferable to other forms of file storage, i.e. USB or cloud computing, rather than to stay in a simple notebook. The computer is also very faster. It is faster to type on a computer than to write. The other apps on a computer is quickly accessible, but you have to focus. And the font displays the information you have entered in a neater way than you would have written in text. So this is the assignments are listed in the days that are given and are entered one after the other. And these are my entries that I had to submit per week. And the entries that I submitted at this time are all still here. So this is a this is a timestamp chronology of all the things that I entered for this class in terms of discussion, and it will serve as a reference for handling this kind of material in the future, because even if I expect to remember this a few years from now, I still can't expect to. So just in case I don't have the stock of this information in my head, I know that that I can reference similar material to something that I did in one of my classes. And this document also shows how to write the different commands in SQL database. And in this class, SQL, it was told that SQL database was important for warehouses and managing office space, like office workers, inbound and outbound supplies, inventories, any sort of inventory, whether you want to keep organized at home, of course. That would be if you have a private business, or if you want to keep stock of different sorts of similar items like clothes and things like that don't perish within the year. So it also serves as an instruction manual for reviewing the different kinds of ways to operate the program. The entry should still depend on since this is a software, the entry should depend, whether the entry works or not should also depend on the updates that have been passed to it over time. So these instructions may not be quite useful for the newer versions of this program. That's one of the downsides. So the class was just basically about information on how to enter, on what a database is, how it's used, and how to use or implement an example of a database. So there is a bit of explanation here as to things like ID dependence. There are different types of ways to organize a table. You can organize them, and in fact this became useful for me for organizing tables, because I could register in my head the different kinds of information that I had to put through, and see what the possible result of the outputs would be as a table. So when the tables are produced, they're produced in different kinds of tables. And let me see if I can find one. And they come in these relations: one to some, one to many, many to some, many to many. So let's say you have a situation where you are a teacher and you want to use SQL to design a system of how many each of the different students you had over the years. Now, so if you want to go back 20 years in the future, if you're still a teacher, you can reference with this database of which specific people and their credentials from all the way back from the time that the database was created. This is a one-to-many relationship. If you want to do something like comparing printers to brands, of course there are many printers and there are many brands, but there are many more different printers than there are brands. This is a sum-to-many relationship. A many-to-many relationship would be to do an associative property between, let's say, if you're doing a chemical analysis on one enzyme to another, what is the rate of cohesion or something between one chemical or another chemical. This is a many-to-many relationship. Now the difference is when you have a ring of relationships from each different chemical relating to each other chemical times how many chemicals there are, versus in the case where there is a student and there is a student-teacher relationship. You usually have one teacher that is the super class for all the students. Okay, so the one teacher is independent of all the dependent students, versus a codependency relationship that occurs in a many-to-many relationship between more similar entities that are more similar. Okay, I don't have any. Okay, this doesn't really have any tables, so I can't really show you any tables.